Hello there, and welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling, where we are both called Sam and we both talk wrestling, hence where we got that wonderfully creative name. Today, we are talking about our controversial opinions on wrestling, something that might be devil's advocate, something that we just feel strongly about. Sam, what have you gone with today? But before that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That will very much help us out.
I like controversial take. It's a safe place
Yes.
to talk about things. And sometimes you'll mention something in another video. And I think it needs to be elaborated on a little bit further, or some people might disagree. And I'm going to do that today. In a previous video, we talked about John Cena's legacy. Don't go and watch that. It was a roundtable discussion. And in that, I said that John Cena is better than Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that is my controversial opinion, that John Cena is better than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
By what metrics?
So, I think almost all of them. So, that's the funny thing about it. So, if you went on things like the ratings, for example, no. And for some reason, I've always found that WWE always say that whoever's the champion is the reason that there's a rate. And I've just always disagreed, because as proven by Austin disappeared for a year with his injury, Rock then walks in, and 2000 has its biggest ever year. WWE's biggest ever year is 2000. Austin, nowhere to be found at all. So you have to argue, was it based on Austin? Was it based on Vince and all that lot? Was it the Attitude Era? Was it two wrestlings going on at the same time? So for my eyes, the ratings and the viewership and something like that, I think, it's your favourite word, your zeitgeist, it was a moment in time. Look at the thing. So first of all, I'm going to go on as many metrics as I can. First of all, I feel sorry for Austin getting injured, and that curtailed his career. But Austin being on top, we're talking 98 to 2002. We're talking 5 years of wrestling, effectively. John Cena is from 2000 and let's go 5 to now.
I think it's more like 2017.
Hey, he's on his retirement year. He's gonna main event, but let's go 2017. That is 12 years of being the guy running it, and the fact that they didn't have enough trust to go with anybody else or push anybody else. Cena doing it for that long length of time. Cena's merch numbers are up there with Austin's merch numbers. It's insane. Austin had a connection with the male demographic. I think Cena has had a connection with every single child and every single female in particular, all of Cena, and a few sections of the male. So he actually was with a demographic. I'm going to say something really controversial. Cena's a better worker than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, I think that's fair.
I think if you were comparing at the beginning of their careers, Stone Cold's so much better than John. The only thing I would say that John had that Austin maybe didn't have is I think John's had storytelling from the start. I think pretty much, like maybe once he became a rapper, we'll go from that point. But Cena's work by the end of his career, like if you ask me, watch Austin's best match or watch Cena's best match, I'll tell you which one I'm watching. I'm watching Cena's best match. And we'll see. And, we're doing the brackets that has been done this month. So, will be interesting to see. But for me, almost everything that you could break down outside of a feeling, there's more fans that watch wrestling and there's more heartfelt and more caring fans in the Attitude Era that I think Attitude Era is looked at with those rose-tinted glasses. And I think every single person is now on a pedestal. There's mid-carders who are the most average mid-carders in in-ring work or story, but because they had a gimmick that was fun. Like, for example, I adore The Godfather. Godfather is one of my favourite characters in wrestling history. It's terrible. He's an okay worker. He was a decent-ish promo, but he is put on upper echelon, and people compare mid-cards and go, nah, Godfather's better, and they say things like that. So for me, when I look at everything that Cena's done and achieved and all the stuff outside and everything like that, and the amount of WrestleMania main events, the amount of amazing matches, and the amount of money he has actually made and holding the company for so long, I find it very difficult to not actually open my arms and go, I do believe that John Cena, and I'm not a massive fan of John Cena. You know this, like he was on my top 10 worst world champion list.
Yes.
But at the same time, his longest run is longer than all of Austin's combined.
Okay, so I can see the points that you make. Longevity doesn't mean that you're better than someone.
Agreed, but he was still the main event, producing good stories and good matches all the way through that. There was never a dip necessarily. The dip came actually with the opponents that he had being on repeat over and over and over again.
So I'll put this to you. So Austin, yes, he was at the height of wrestling, so maybe he benefited from it.
Could Austin have done what Cena did if he did it for 12 years? He
Well,
already dropped from the invasion.
Well, you've got to sort of, obviously, so you've got to pretend he didn't get the injury.
Yeah, injury didn't happen. Could Austin have done it for 12 years? Attitude Era finishes, and it did finish. He was there when it finished.
He would have had to adapt. What I can say about Austin is he's
an intelligent man.
Adapt.
He's an intelligent man.
He has his finger on the pulse, and he knows the business. And look at his heel work. Yes, okay, maybe he shouldn't have turned heel, and that's a bad example in terms of the decision.
It was a really good heel run. It just came at the wrong time.
Yes, so timing. But he can do comedy fantastically well. He's a very versatile performer. I think if he wanted to, he could have done. Or I'd reverse it. I'd say, could Cena have done what Austin did?
Oh, do you know what?
In that those few years.
Do you know what? Yeah.
Really? So if you think so if 2005, 2006, 2007, John Cena was the guy in WWE in the Monday Night Wars.
But I think of 2005, 6, 7 Cena is like Austin's 96, 97. Because you remember Austin turns up and he's, the ringmaster and all that jazz. So you've got to think. I would go Cena in 2008 when everyone was when he was getting apathetic and annoyed.
Yeah, exactly. Do you really think that?
I don't blame that. I blame the thing that was happening around it. You now must be PG, and he was the pusher of the PG, and he pushed it and went with it. You're saying about, do you think that he could have done? He did, because he went with the PG. As much as we hated it, and every adult hated it, they made loads of money because they wanted to get children to buy toys. Remember when they said wrestling's not for kids? When they were in Attitude, and then why are you selling figures? And toys and stuff. It's clearly for kids. And that's a problem when you're doing the Attitude Era. So they went to PG so they could actually be a PG. And Cena was the perfect person for it. So when you say, could he have done? I'd argue, yeah, because he was kind of ruthless aggression in that 2005 with those, and 2004 with all the rapping and stuff like that. If he'd have found the character that was suited him in the Attitude Era, and I think he would have been smart enough to do it, I actually think,
I think he could have done that type of presentation, but would he have done it as well as Stone Cold Steve Austin?
And that's the fact. This is the thing. So this is why I say it's a controversial. It's my opinion. I think for the first time, really, this is an actual opinion where I think the majority would disagree. But I think there's a lot of disagreeing here with bias and with the love of the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
I really do.
I get that. I think it's closer than what people would give.
I tell you what, when you watch the Attitude Era back, so you take away. It's like when you watch Rock Hogan in WrestleMania 18. And you go, at the time it was amazing, but you watch it back or you watch it on mute, it's terrible. I think a lot of Attitude Era, you watch it and you go, oh wait, 99's terrible.
You know what I
99's really bad.
What I feel like I wasn't there at the time, but when you watch back old Attitude Era, like Monday Night Raws and stuff, it's almost like going to a nightclub sober.
Oh my God,
that's exactly what it is.
That's it.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my God.
You have to be there at the time and part of it in that vibe, but when you just look back and actually look at what it was.
We've got the title for the video.
That's literally what it is.
I think we'll end my thing there. So I'm going to go with Cena. I think, by all metrics, is better than Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what I'm going with. And by the way, the funny thing is, if you ask me who I prefer Stone Cold Steve Austin. So there you go. Sometimes I'm playing devil's advocate, sometimes I'm being genuine, sometimes it's both. I am devil's advocate in here, but at the same time, I actually kind of believe it, mainly because I don't want to. Yeah. But I think this is the art. This is the art, by the way, of wrestling fans, about tribalism and also being biased and unfair. When you speak to football fans and you go like, oh, like Liverpool are doing rubbish, and they go, how dare you? You're a plastic fan. You're like, aren't they doing rubbish though at the moment? Like I said that to once in like 2012. That's what I made. And he went, you're a plastic Chelsea fan. And it's like, I've been supporting them since I was like 8.
So it's not even relevant to the criticism.
Aren't they bad at the moment? Don't you agree?
Oh, we were.
Yeah, you were. So So that's one of the things. So Stone Cold Steve Austin, I do believe, is better than John Cena. But I think John Cena is actually better than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
My head hurts.
Sam, what is your controversial take?
So I don't even like talking about this as a subject because I hated this storyline with a passion, and it encapsulated everything that was wrong with the time. However, if Jason Jordan hadn't got injured when he did, really sad. If he hadn't got injured at that point, I think his illegitimate son storyline with Kurt was about to be incredible and one of the best storylines that they'd done in years.
Controversial opinion with hyperbole. I've got to stop saying hyperbole when I mean hypothetical.
Hypothetical. So
Okay.
I think just as that was going, obviously everyone hated and despised Jason Jordan for ages. It was like him and Roman were the two. We hated them and they were supposed to be faces. And it was a terrible storyline. Just as he got injured, he was in a tag team with Seth. And people don't remember he was doing a few segments and a few promos where he was getting really entitled and needy. I think the Survivor Series, he just expected to be put on the team by Kurt Angle because he was the GM. They were starting to slowly lean into the fact that Jason Jordan was probably going to turn on Seth and become a heel.
He really was a heel.
Well, he was kind of, but like it was kind of
He was a heel working with a babyface.
Yeah, exactly. And they were just about to really go and commit to that. And I think if they had, he would have gotten really organic, almost nuclear heat because people hated him so much. And it wasn't his fault. But I think with the personality that he was starting to develop, being needy and entitled and self-righteous and justified and, being the nepotism character, I think it would have done really, really well. And he could have been a main eventer with that gimmick. And it will never be, we talked about timing recently.
Mm-hmm.
That is so heartbreaking because I think it was about to have been redeemed, the entire storyline.
Interesting one. I mean, I've already got background scar on that. Chad Gable didn't know. They didn't know. He was watching it in a hotel room.
That's so.
He was watching it in a hotel room because remember they were on SmackDown as a tag team.
Yeah.
And they had a meeting with one of them or both of them and say, "Oh, we're going to do something," and then Jason goes off somewhere, and then he turns up as the illegitimate son on Raw.
You not message
No.
Chad? Oh,
Chad would have made him more likely answer.
Yes.
Here's the thing I'm going to say to this, right? I disagree.
Okay.
And the reason I disagree is fewfold. One, it was booked terribly because everyone went, okay. It was really out of nowhere. They picked someone who didn't have any charisma, anything like that. He'd been in a tag team. He'd only just been on the main roster. God, it was like 6 months or something. It wasn't even long. Like they'd had a tag team title win, and then that was about it with American Alpha. And then he didn't work. Like he didn't know how to work a singles yet. At all. No. And I think everyone forgets that. It's a big thing, actually. When you go from tag team, I think you've seen it with Jey Uso. Jey Uso has dramatically improved over the course of 2024, particularly the back end. But when it was, he was struggling. Everyone called, oh, he's overrated. Everybody going, no, it's because he hasn't worked how to do singles yet. You watch early Shawn Michaels after he split. The matches ain't great because he doesn't know how to work it, especially as a heel when you're meant to be the one leading the match. At least,
I got that he hadn't figured out singles yet, but that was the reason that he wasn't doing right.
But for Jason Jordan, it was bland. And then he got thrown into the thing with Seth Rollins, which made no sense. And Seth was just on the crossover wave. He was just starting to pick up momentum again. And he got thrown with Jason Jordan, which I thankfully got injured from a Seth Rollins standpoint. And it actually ended script, which is so deathly sad because I don't believe he would have been a main event. I don't. Yeah. But I actually agree with you on the entitled gimmick would have been really good. But it didn't feel like they were booking it because they were booking on the fly still and things were changing and it felt really disconnected. And I don't know how far they would have gone with it, because I can see Vincent giving up on him. So if you're going to go on the hypothetical, I can see it just not going anywhere. I mean, he already got thrown into a weird tag team and they won the tag titles, lost it to the Bar, one of our favourite teams. Yeah. And it was just a weird one for me. I don't look at Jason Jordan and thought main eventer. I actually thought he was a bit bland, a bit boring, and quite frankly, he needed the rub from Kurt and Seth just to even be propped up. So maybe if it carried on, he could have been a real good chicken, salad heel. It really could have been. But for me, I was watching it and I was so wanted to stop watching again. 2019 was so difficult. I need to start watching again because you lads turned up because I was in, I was out, I was in. And 2019 was so difficult to get through.
2017. Happened. Yeah.
Seth went to the WrestleMania. Oh, he won the Royal Rumble. He did that. Oh, sorry, I've got my year. I've gone a year ahead. Apologies, but wasn't Seth? Was he just about to go into Messiah at gimmick at one point?
This was the year.
Was that 20?
So I think he just maybe.
That was 2020. Oh, a little mixture.
Oh no, it's a few years.
Yeah. Anyway, I apologise, but for me, I was really apathetic to Jason Jordan. I think the crowd are apathetic. I think there was booing going on, but I think I'm going to say something really mean. I think he got Baron Corbin boos.
Oh, I know what you mean. Go away heat. Yeah.
It wasn't go away heat. It was go away. So it was you're doing a good job as a heel, but I'm not enjoying your work as a heel. So it wasn't like, go, I don't want it off my TV. It was a, oh, Jason Jordan.
So what I would say is, in terms of being a main event, I wouldn't say he would necessarily be a main eventer, but have a main event run, if that
He
makes
could have
sense.
done. He
Like,
could have done.
Not win a world title.
He would have
not
been.
at all.
I reckon his in-ring work could have got good enough to do it. Chad was the better worker.
Oh, 100%.
and
100%.
proven he's the better worker.
Yes.
But for me, no, I don't. I think it would have died a death. The
That's fair.
storyline for me.
I just think the way it was turning, I think it would be remembered.
It ended
a
at the
lot
wrong
more
time. I'd love to see what would have happened.
Yeah.
I do think it was getting better.
Yeah.
And I would have seen, because would he have had a match with Seth at Mania? Is that what we were
maybe
leading
an IC
to?
title match, and hey, the title match we got was incredible, so
Yeah.
can't complain.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, 34. Seth wins it with Miz
and Balor.
So maybe it was actually meant to be Miz and Balor, and Seth was maybe meant to be in with Jordan, or maybe Jordan was meant to be in the match. Who knows? But probably sounds like Seth has been.
I mean, I don't think they really planned 2 weeks.
No, it really didn't.
So...
But do you know what, Sam? I don't think it'd have been a main eventer, but I think they could have solidified him in the mid card, which would have been better than if he'd have done a tag team breakup with Chad, done your rivalry, and then move on from there without a character development. They walked in and went, here's your new character. And I think that was the problem. It was like, here's your new guy, here's your new character, go. And everyone just went, I'm confused, I don't get it. Corey Grace proving he was the most amazing investigatory.
And then that never happened again.
No, it did. With Enzo and Cass. He was the one who found out who attacked Cass. And it was, yes, he was the one interviewing him. He did it twice, Corey Graves.
Amazing journalism.
What do you think? What do you think about Jason Jordan? That's a tough one. I like a hypothetical.
Yeah.
And it was getting a little bit better.
I think
I was already like, go away.
Yeah, I just think it could have redeemed it to quite an extent.
Oh, and also, just to put the end to that, Chad Gable then didn't go into a singles run. They just replaced him with essentially, it's like, sorry, this is a really insult, but like, Gable and Jordan were essentially the world's greatest tag team in 2016. So what did they do? They got the old guy from the world's greatest tag team and just replaced him. So it literally felt like, here you go, here's Jason Jordan again. And it was really insulting. It was insulting to Shelton Benjamin, who was so much better than that. And stuff. And then they didn't even give them a proper push as a tag team anyway. Anyway, Jason Jordan. He's doing some okay work as a producer now.
Yeah, you see him a lot now.
I heard he's doing a great job.
He's in a lot of the pull-up balls.
I'm really happy WWE gave him that.
I'm really happy.
I'm really glad, because you wouldn't have thought someone his age would have been there, but you know, it worked, and I've heard he's done some really good. I can't put it into name, but I've heard he was the producer of this match, and you go, fair enough. Anyway, thank you very much for our controversial takes today. What do you think? Do you think John Cena is better than Stone Cold? Do you think Jason Jordan could have been better than John Cena and Stone Cold as a main eventer while being the illegitimate son to Kurt Angle? What do you think? What are your controversial opinions that you want to get off your chest? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will see you next time with some more controversy that Eric Bischoff will then complain about online. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.